Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'll be reviewing Soulcatcher, now streaming on Netflix. So Soulcatcher is a new Polish action film, and it tells the story of a group of military contractors. They're trying to stop this device that essentially turns people into zombies. It makes them into like these rage-filled maniac people that just want to attack. And I will say I did kind of have a fun time watching this film, but it definitely doesn't live up to prestige action films like, let's say, Mission Impossible or John Wick that we've seen recently. It feels very much in that lower caliber of action film. And a lot of that has to do with the overall performances of our characters. Our main character, Fang, is actually pretty decent as kind of an action hero, but any scenes where he needs to add any emotion or any depth to the character, it falls pretty flat. He's a pretty wooden character that we're just following around in the film. He doesn't really feel like he has any real depth to him for the most part. And honestly, any scenes where they try to interject any emotion or any depth to the movie, I think just don't work in particular with this film. It feels like there's a very sharp juxtaposition of these tone shifts when we're trying to have these action set pieces, but then try to add an emotional or a lighthearted moment in between the two. It just feels very stark contrast between the two. The overall story itself isn't anything we haven't really seen before. We've seen plenty of movies about some device that turns people into crazy people or turns them into zombies, if you'd say. The movie does have kind of a twist towards the end of the film, which I think is okay. It's not anything incredible. I think it adds a little bit to the plot. When it comes to the actual action in the film, it's not terrible. I think there's some decent scenes. The choreography does feel a little stiff, like I said, compared to, like prestige action films. I don't think it's ever going to be on the level of those films. Obviously, the budget and kind of what's behind the movie isn't going to be the caliber of those movies. The gunplay itself isn't too bad. I think the sound that they used could have been a little bit better. The sound design and the sound effects could have been a little more weighty and make you feel like you're a little more immersed. It feels a little flat at times. That being said, I think the overall production and visual effects in the film, while they're not, top tier world class, they're not terrible. They're not on par of like a sci-fi channel film. I've obviously seen far worse than this movie, and I think they did put a decent amount of effort into trying to make it entertaining in that facet. I think the thing that really lets the film down is the overall lack of depth in the story. It's a very basic story. It runs pretty quickly at an hour and 40 minutes. It doesn't feel like there's any real depth to what's happening. It seems kind of quickly put together. It's not really trying to say anything too deep. It's not trying to do anything more than being a basic, entertaining action film. And I think for some people that might work. Being it thrown up on Netflix, you get the opportunity to check it out and kind of just shut your brain off for a while and watch an action movie. I think it works for that. But if you're expecting anything bigger or deeper than that, you might be pretty disappointed. So overall, if I were to rate Soulcatcher, I would give it a 4 out of 10. Not the best movie of the year, not the best action movie by any stretch, but again, kind of a simple film. If you want to check it out, you might enjoy it. And I would always love to hear people's opinions if you really liked it. If you liked it a lot more than me, I would always love to hear what you liked about it. If you didn't like it, I'd love to hear those opinions too. Every opinion's valid when it comes to film. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.